How do you feel about wearing the same outfit of everyone in your school? I'm going to be telling you today about the pros of having school uniforms. Why schools should have uniforms? I found out through my research how beneficial school uniforms are. And it doesn't make kids feel different from the other kids by the clothes or shoes that they wear. My main points today are going to be uniforms take the competition out of clothes, school uniforms help focus more on learning and not on clothing, and everyone can fit in their school. And the last one is increased attendance rates. My first point is why uniforms take the competition out of clothes. According to FrenchToast.com, in the past decade, there has been an increase in extreme and drastic outfits for kids at school. In today's world, kids are paying more attention to what is in and how much it is on the price tag because they're all about fitting the status quo. Many students have jobs because they need to work just to afford the clothes on their back, but while others have jobs to put towards their futures. If schools mandate uniforms, it will take care of the issue of competition to see who has the nicest clothes and the nicest shoes. No student should feel excluded when it comes to clothes because they cannot afford the same clothing as other students. Kids will start focusing on who they are instead of focusing on who they are wearing. According to verywellfamily.com, education believes students can be distracted by fashion trends. Students' attention should be focused on what they are learning in school instead of what they are looked like compared to other kids. Now that we see how uniforms would allow students to focus more on school and they aren't competing with their clothes, let's talk about how kids will be able to focus more on learning. Uniforms help students stay more concentrated on school. Uniforms help the school system on the amount you would spend on your kids when it comes to back to school shopping. In the month of September, parents will spend over $300 just to regulate their clothes expensive for the kids. With uniforms, parents will only be spending $90 total for a year. This means each kid will be spending the same amount on clothing as everyone else. Uniforms are cost effective, which means it is an investment. Uniforms will give kids a feeling of belonging, and everyone isn't the same when it comes to clothing. School uniforms are the same as athletic uniforms. When you put on the uniform, you become part of a team, which means you're all working together. This means that school uniforms give kids the feeling closer to their communities and to their school. When you don't feel like an outcast, you're inspired to excel during class because you're a part of the team. This teaches unity and pushes for excellence. Now that we talked about how uniforms bring unity to our school and how kids feel as they are a part of the team, let's talk about how everyone can fit in. Everyone can fit in and become their own person. Uniforms encourage kids to be their own person and makes them have their own personality. Human nature for us is to express personality and creative talents, but many students use clothing as their creativity. With uniforms, this challenges kids that use clothing as their creativity to dig deep within them to find their creative outlet and become more than just articles of clothing. Uniforms allow students to define themselves, whether they are in band, choir, drama, academics, or sports. It makes it an even playing field for the kids that don't have to worry about if someone is judging them and by what they are wearing. Students have their own attitude rather than rely on their clothes to speak for them. Uniforms improve self-esteem because they won't feel pressured to dress a certain way. Now that we talked about how we take the competition out of clothes, school uniforms keep focus on learning and not clothing, and how everyone can fit in their school, let's talk about improved attendance rates. Increased attendance rate for the schools that have uniforms. According to CampusSafetyMagazine.com, public schools that have to wear uniforms have an increase in their attendance rate, higher graduation rates, and fewer student suspensions. This is just another positive thing that can happen by schools changing to uniforms. This major reason for an increase in attendance is because students felt more comfortable in uniforms, that they wouldn't get picked on for what they were wearing. In my opinion, I feel as though no kid should ever miss school because they are afraid of what people might think of what they are wearing. Children who come from lower income families feel inferior and do not feel equal to other students. Attendance rates have improved from 0.3% to 0.4% through grades 6 through 12 after students go to uniforms. Uniforms also save time in the morning. Instead of spending an hour to figure out what you are going to wear, you will be wearing the same thing every day. There are also a decrease in expulsions. by 0.6 per 100 students in the years that students have started wearing uniforms. Today, I have discussed how uniforms cause you to focus more on academics and how you can find your own personality and you aren't competing with other students on who has the nicest clothes. Uniforms are making kids feel like they're on the same level as everyone, and uniforms are making kids feel as they are not outsiders and don't feel left out. This also increases attendance rates for students that have uniforms. Uniforms have their advantages, not just for students, but as parents as well. Uniforms make everyone feel equal and saves money for families and can increase attendance rates. In conclusion, uniforms are a good idea because you can focus on your schoolwork and not have to worry about fitting in with all the other kids and their nice shoes or clothes. Uniforms also give kids the chance to be who they are without having fancy clothes, and it also improves self-confidence and self-esteem.